They said the legend of Reaper 1 was just a story, a ghost Marine who vanished after Fallujah. But that night, in a noisy roadside bar filled with laughter and whiskey fumes, that ghost sat alone in the corner, quietly watching the young men wearing the same uniform he once bled for. When one of them walked up and asked, "What was your call sign, old man?" he answered with 2 words that turned the whole bar silent. Reaper 1. The kid's drink slipped from his hand, and by the time it hit the floor, everyone in the room realized they were in the presence of a man whose story had been written in blood, fire, and silence. The night was loud. Boots on wooden floors, beer mugs clinking, jukebox playing something half country, half regret, a small-town Marine bar near Camp Pendleton, where the young ones came to celebrate their weekend freedom. At a shadowed table near the back sat a man who didn't quite fit in. He wore a faded USMC cap and an old leather jacket that had seen better days. One of his legs was gone below the knee, replaced by a steel prosthetic that caught the bar light every now and then. His hands, strong but trembling slightly, cradled a glass of whiskey that had long stopped sweating. His name, as few still remembered, was Staff Sergeant William Bill Carter. Once, he'd been one of the best, recon Marine, sharpshooter. The man who always volunteered first and came back last. But to most of the young faces in that bar, he was just another old-timer. Another forgotten vet living off discounts and stories. At the counter, a group of off-duty Marines were laughing loud, mostly young, full of energy and cheap beer. Among them was Lance Corporal Ryan Hale, barely 21, sharp-cut, eager to prove himself. He noticed the old man sitting alone and smirked. "Hey, look at Grandpa over there," he chuckled. "Still wearing the Corps cap like he's about to deploy." The others laughed. But one, Corporal Diaz, frowned. "Lay off, man. That's a veteran. Show some respect." Ryan shrugged. "Respect's earned. Not handed out with a VA card." He grabbed his drink and walked over, his boots echoing against the old floorboards. The bar quieted just a little. "Evening, sir," Ryan said with mock politeness. "Mind if I ask what unit you served with? You look like someone who's seen things, or maybe just watched Band of Brothers too many times." A few nearby Marines snickered. Bill lifted his eyes, steady, calm, no anger, no amusement. Just a silence that felt heavier than words. "First recon?" he said simply. Ryan chuckled. "Yeah, and what was your call sign, Pops?" Bill's gaze didn't waver. He took a breath, slow and measured, then said quietly, "Reaper 1. The glass slipped from Ryan's hand, crashing to the floor, beer spreading across his boots. The laughter died instantly. The name hit the air like a gunshot. "Wait, what did you just say?" one of them whispered. "Reaper 1, Bill repeated. "Haven't used it in a long time." Every Marine in that room had heard the name. In stories told over campfires, in whispers after deployments, in training briefings. Reaper 1, the sniper who single-handedly held a bridge in Fallujah, covering the retreat of an entire platoon. The man who saved 12 Marines when the city burned. Officially, he was declared MIA, presumed dead, but here he was, alive, in a bar. Ryan stepped back, his voice shaky. "That can't be. They said you died out there?" Bill finished with a faint smile. "Yeah, so did a lot of us." The room stayed silent. Even the jukebox had stopped playing. No one spoke for a long moment. The young Marines stood frozen, unsure whether to salute, apologize, or just sit down. Bill set his whiskey down and leaned back. His eyes looked far away, like he was seeing through the walls. Back to another place, another time. "You kids ever hear what really happened in Fallujah?" he asked quietly. Ryan swallowed hard. "Just stories, sir." "Yeah," Bill said. "Stories. They never tell you what comes after." He paused, then began to speak, voice low, calm, but filled with weight. 16 of us went in. Only 4 made it out. The others? They didn't even have names left to send home. We were covering the convoy retreat when the air support got delayed. We held that bridge for hours. Just a sniper, a radio, and a kid named Daniels who couldn't stop shaking. He looked down at his hand, still trembling slightly. They hit us from every direction. When the dust settled, Daniels was gone. I'd taken a hit. Lost my leg and most of my hearing on one side. When the medevac finally came, I wasn't breathing. They tagged me as KIA. He smiled faintly. Guess I didn't agree with the paperwork. The Marines around him listened in absolute silence. No one moved. I woke up 3 weeks later in a hospital in Germany. No name, no rank, just a file marked unidentified Marine. Took months to walk again. Years to stop dreaming about that bridge. Bill's voice cracked slightly, and for the first time, Ryan saw not a crippled old man, but a warrior still fighting battles no one could see. "Why didn't you come back?" Diaz asked softly. Bill exhaled. "Because the Corps buried me. My wife had a funeral. My unit moved on. I didn't want to take that from them. So I just stayed gone." Silence hung in the air again. Then quietly, Ryan whispered, "Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't know." Bill looked at him with a faint, forgiving smile. "You couldn't have. But now you do. Remember something, kid. Respect doesn't come from rank or age. It comes from understanding what others gave up so you could stand here laughing." Ryan nodded, eyes wet. "Yes, sir." Bill finished his drink, set it down gently, and turned his cap around. "The war never really ends, son. It just moves home with you." As he rolled out of the bar, every Marine in the room stood at attention, silently saluting the man once thought dead, the legend who never wanted to be one. Outside, the wind carried the faint echo of the word, Reaper 1. And inside, the young Marine who once mocked him whispered softly, "Semper Fi, sir. Semper Fi." Heroes aren't always the ones in uniform. Sometimes they're the ones who carry the scars so others don't have to. Respect every veteran, because some wars never leave the battlefield.